As usual, I do my welcome to everybody and to Zenith Gallery's Culture Cluster 37th anniversary show. And we called it that after some long thinking about it because it kind of describes what Zenith is. It's a cluster of culture in many different forms. And you know, it's kind of what we're known for over the years is to have a very unusual mix of our work. If it's different, I generally like it. If it's different and well done, I like it. And some of my artists, a lot of the artists are here, I'll introduce them, and some of them have been with me since the absolute beginning, in our first art center at 15th and Rhode Island, like Carol Newmeyer, who actually started out as an apprentice right out of college and worked for me in my wood shop, and then did her bronze, and you know, it's forged an incredibly long friendship. And Zenith is like an extended family. It's not like your typical gallery. I remember one of my artists once said to me, you know, my other gallery owners don't care if the other artists show up at somebody's opening, you know, another artist's opening. She said, you're the only one who cares whether the other artists show up. I like my artists to be supportive of the other artists. You know, I think that, you know, that's the way it should be, and it's very much so here. And and one of the reasons, obviously, I have a gallery is because I'm an artist, and being a sculptor, I was like, okay, well, I can have a gallery and just show my work, but what's going to hang on the walls? You know, so one thing kind of led to another, and my parents, you know, were tremendously supportive, and my partners in the business, and at the beginning, and my father's company designed all of our logos, which were award-winning, and did all of our graphics for years and years. I mean, the first gallery was in an alley at 15th and Rhode Island, 3/4 of a block from 14th Street, and literally we had to sweep the alley of condoms before any opening, and because we were literally in the late 70s, 3/4 of a block from 14th Street, 10 years after the riots. I mean, so it was not the garden spot of the universe. But
go out the door, you could take a right, but you couldn't take a left.
Yeah, something like that. And anyway, but it was still wonderful, and the Dance Exchange and Studio Theater started there. The studio went on to kind of own 14th Street, and we all started the 14th Street Arts Corridor. But Zenith, you know, is a eclectic mix of unusual artists. As I have told you earlier, what kind of keeps me in business after all these years is that with billions of people on the planet, that somebody can come up with an original thought and execute it in an original way. You know, I don't want to have a gallery that somebody can price shop what's on my website in any gallery in the country. I don't want that. You know, I want one of a kind. I like my art well crafted and my craft well arted. So I don't like sloppy craftsmanship. You know, as I say, you wouldn't go to a surgeon that did a great job, but you have a scar from your chin to your navel, you know, I mean, so I think craftsmanship is important, and I think creativity is important, and you know, it should not be squandered, and my artists don't squander it. They don't spend their careers plagiarizing themselves. They come up with new things all the time, which is why they're still here, and after all these years. So, so there is Carol, and then here we have Joyce Zipperer. Joyce does some very unusual work.
Joyce, take the stage, please.
From shoes.
Come on, Joyce, don't be shy.
Artful shoes, and to the piece behind you, the chemise, to the bikini line upstairs. Joyce has a real joie de vivre about her work, and I even showed her when she did something decades ago completely different, you know, that I liked then too. And in fact, I had forgotten about that till I saw something on the wall of yours that I had from like 25 years ago. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what she used to do. So a lot of my artists, I started with them when they were doing one thing, and then they started doing something else. Like Joan Conkle started out as a wearable art designer and ended up doing these wonderful pieces. Again, perfect example of Zenith, three-dimensional mesh, deconstructive light, everything that's got the Morey effect. Nobody does anything like it. And one of the things about our art is that a lot of this stuff you have to see in person before you see a photograph of it. Because you just, even today, it was a perfect example. The Giardini sent me 3 images of these pieces they were bringing in. And I love their work. I sell their work a lot. They're fantastic. And I'm like, oh, really? And then they brought him in the door, and I'm like, these are fabulous, but the photographs just do not do them justice. You can't get the sense of them, and, you know, he'd have to take a couple different angles to get it, you know. But it was a perfect object lesson. I always tell clients that if you like the photograph more than you like the piece, don't buy the piece, you know. Anyway, next to Joyce is Donna McCullough, and Donna's famous for
Turn over
her
there. Behind.
dress